What's up? I'm Brianna Ivy, and this is the Hear from a Student podcast.
Cool. Kemuel, how's it going today?
I'm doing good. Just here chilling, enjoying the calm,
The
just
freedom.
just after graduation, like maybe Friday, so a couple days ago, I've just been here in the house, and it feels like a weight,
You
like a
know,
like a weight.
that
So,
after graduation piece, we're gonna get into that, but that piece
mm,
is just like no other.
yeah.
Go ahead and introduce yourself with the people. Let us know your name, where you're from, what you studied, and where you graduated from.
So my name is Kemuel Russell. I'm from the Virgin Islands, in Court to be exact. Been here for about, let's say, 10 to 12 years. I went to Georgia Tech. I studied biology, also psychology and Spanish, and I don't know if there's something else that she
No,
said.
that's it. I
Okay,
didn't know you
yeah.
were from the Virgin Islands. That's cool.
Yeah.
I missed that. And so you're back there now.
No, I'm here. I've
Cool.
been here since like around 2012.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just enough
Ooh.
for in-state tuition.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, all right, let's go back to Kemuel in high school. Did you know that you wanted to study biology?
I think at the time I did not know, but looking back at my experience, everything I did was more so under the biology realm, more
Okay.
so the medical realm, which kind of goes hand in hand with biology. Um, I did a lot of volunteering at hospitals and clinics, and I did a bunch of like blood drives at my school and things like that. All of, has like the medical based things.
Yeah.
So when it came to picking a major, it wasn't like a hard option for me.
Okay.
But interestingly enough, my first major was actually biomedical engineering.
Really?
It was because honestly, I just thought it sounded cool.
Yeah.
Um, and then when I came here and I looked at the plan, I just realized that I'm more so interested in the sciencey part, the conceptual part of like the science and medicine, and I was not really like a CS or medical device type of person.
Yeah.
So I just realized I think I do more well with the biology side. And so
Okay, that's cool. And then you came straight into tech, or did you
I came
transfer?
straight into tech.
So
I came straight.
I think, for me at least, when I thought of tech, and I think when people think of tech, they think engineering, computer science, that realm of the world. So what is it about tech that stood out to you for studying biology?
Oh, I'm gonna be honest with you, Brianna. Like
Okay.
my coming into tech was very, for me, like atypical and unorthodox to another person. For me, I didn't know anything about Georgia Tech.
Okay.
What happened to me is like I did not get into my dream school. Like my dream school was Emory, and you couldn't tell me during my all 4 years I was not gonna get into that school. But
Yeah.
then I did not get into that school. And so I think it was because I kind of set myself up in a way where I based my entire high school career into getting into this one school. So
Mhm.
although I applied to like maybe like 15, 20, I was only really trying to go to one.
Yeah.
And so when I was hit with the reality of me not getting into that school, I was like, okay, there's this other school called Georgia Tech or whatever. And then people were like, go to
Yeah.
tech. And I'm like, I don't really know much about the school, but everyone's saying I'll have the best experience and the best education, so I'll just go there. I was always going to be in state, so it was either like tech, state. Um, it was I couldn't look at Morehouse because I didn't have the Morehouse money,
Yeah.
but it would have been great to have went there, but I
Yeah.
couldn't spit out those loans. But
Yeah.
so when I came to tech, it was just like I had no clue. I did not do research enough. I did go on a tour to tech.
Okay.
I think prior to me getting in, but even then during that time, I was still like, okay, this is cool, But I'm still having like thoughts of me getting into like my number one school. So coming here was just like I didn't know about tech until I was thrown in it, and I'm like, oh, okay, so this is why like people rave so much about Georgia Tech. And so I was able to kind of have a appreciation as like time went on.
Yeah. Okay. I want to pause there and I want to talk
Mhm.
about not getting into your dream school because I don't think that's an experience that from the people I've talked to that we've gotten to get into. But how did you, I guess, like mentally bounce back and prepare to go somewhere else? Because I know for me, for a long time, my dream school was Duke. And then I don't know what happened. I was like, when it was time to fill out that application, I was like, maybe I don't want to go to Duke. And then I wanted to go to Tech, and I didn't get into Tech the first time. Like I applied early admission, and they told me no, apply again like regular. And I was like, you're telling me no? Like, I was top of my class. I was like number 8, like that. I had a 4.0. I was like, why? Now, when I got in, I understood why. But like, what was your mindset in, okay, I can't go to my top school? Like, what was that transition like into looking into other schools? Or was it one where you just like, it'll be okay?
I was crushed. Honestly, I was crushed only because I know from my experience, like, my older brother went to Tech. I mean, not went to Tech, he went to Emory.
Okay.
So even since I was in middle school or even up to high school, I was always on that campus. I was just always there doing whatever he was doing. So like it had already felt like it was home. And so when I didn't get in, I was like, oh wow. Like I thought I was it. Like I was like maybe number 3 in my class. We had like a cap of 150. So I was like, okay, I feel like I'm decent enough or whatever. I'm not really sure why, things happen, but honestly, like they said, things happen, for a reason. But I was crushed. I was sad for a little minute, but thinking back, I didn't really spend too much time on like being sad because I think my biggest thing was just at the time, my biggest concern was going to school with my friends that I lived with. Like, I'm not gonna lie. So I was like, okay, like, I get to Emory, but okay, what do y'all get into? And we had all gotten into Tech. It was me and these 2 other best friends of mine to this day. We were like, all right, well, let's just go to Tech or whatever. We're like, okay, cool. Mind you, none of us knew anything about Tech. Like I think it was just, I think looking back now, it's a reflection of like the school system and other things in place, but we didn't know anything about Tech at all. But the only thing that I knew about Tech is that we had the same mascot as them, but ours was a hornet and Tech is a yellow jacket. But it's the same exact like design. So I was just, okay, cool. Like I was fine because I knew I was gonna go to Tech with my friends, and so and then we started at the same time, and it was cool.
Okay. So then you get into Tech, okay, having known nothing about it. What, I guess, was like that transition from high school to Tech? Did you feel prepared? Like you came in without the stigma of Tech is hard and Tech is this. You're just flying free. So do you think that impacted your experience at all?
Definitely. I actually started Tech in the summer of when I got in. I did this like the Ignite, like you do the Ignite and the challenge thing. Ignite appealed to me more because I wanted to, when I got in, I had only taken the ACT one time. And they was like, because my math section was low, they wanted me to start earlier and do like college algebra and pre-cal before I start in the semester. And I was like, you know what? Okay, cool. So that's why I really did Ignite, because I wanted to get those credits out the way and then start in, the fall, just like with everyone else. But even, I mean, the summer was cool. Like I academic wise, it was cool. I took easy classes. It wasn't anything I haven't seen before. But it was fall that got me. It was when I had those real like biology, chemistry, differential. Like I was like, yo. And it was in that moment, in that semester, I realized how far or how wide of a gap in education it was from where I was from and where everyone else was from coming into Tech. And I was really able to see that there's a lot of like inequities, because I know for me, I grew up I came here in College Park, Georgia. It's kind of like a very like economically deprived like area. So obviously a lot of the high school education or just education in general is not going to be the best. And so I learned that like quickly on, because it was like I was thrown into this whole world and I was like, I'd never even seen any of this before. But then I look at my peers and they're like, oh my God, this is just like freshman year. I'm like, I didn't even look. This wasn't even offered at my school freshman year. So it was just like I had to learn those basics to then come back in. And it was a really hard time because I had to learn how to study. I was not taught how to study in high school, because high school was honestly easy. Like it wasn't anything hard. And so coming in, I was like, I need to learn all these basics before and then catch up. But it's like, I didn't know that until like I was already halfway in the semester of how far behind I was. And it reflected a lot in my first semester. And I'm telling you, my first exam was chemistry, and I got a 20 on that exam. I got one question right, and I was like, "Oh, I'm dropping out today." I said, "It's no way." I'm looking at everyone saying, "Oh my God, like it was hard." Yeah, I'm like, "Yeah, it was hard." But I got a 70, I got an 80, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, so
So I'm just out of here. So I'm just
yeah, so I'm just nowhere near. If it was hard for y'all, it was impossible for me. So it was just like things like that I had to really understand, and like first understand like where I was, and then try to at least find the resources to help me in it. But it was hard because I was just like, yo, like I don't know if I could succeed here. And that's just even academically. Socially was a whole different ball game as well, because I came from an all Black high school, right? And coming to tech, even when I was on tour, um, the social climate didn't really, stand out to me until I moved on campus and started those classes, especially in the summer. It was the most diverse place that I have ever seen, like me being in Georgia, period. I have never seen that many people, that many different people, and even people that look like me from different places. Like because back home it's like if we are look like each other, we're kind of like from the same block, so we have the same type of like opportunities, the same type of resources available. But when I came in here, I'm like, okay, these other people are Black, but they come from like Norcross or Gwinnett, these like up north, more affluent, places where it's a better quality of life, education, resources. So they already have these tools. And I'm just like, oh, like this is also something else that like on top of the academic is a social thing. And it just like, it wasn't a really pretty first semester. But then after that, I started to get like a little bit more intertwined because I made my like a friend group.
Yeah.
And that was my same friend group I had since Ignite, or the summer semester that I started. And so we were kind of able to lean on each other, and we were all in similar classes at the time. So we were, studying together, we were doing things together, and they were kind of like my safe space during that first semester. And so after that, it just like I became a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah. Listen, you said so much that we got to touch on. Because first of all, freshman year, Brianna also almost dropped out. My class wasn't, also another aside, having graduated with an electrical engineering degree, I will say chemistry is the hardest class I ever took. Chemistry, I took it, I think, sophomore year, junior year, one of those. And I was like, if chemistry is the class that I'm going to fail this semester, when I'm taking all these electrical engineering classes, I just might as well go home because of why it's so hard. I remember there was a test that like the fire alarm went off and everybody had to go outside, and we were just looking at each other. Like, it was just like, I don't even know. There's nothing I can even say. Like, that's how hard it was. So shout out to you for, I'm sure you had to take multiple chemistries. Oh. Yes.
1, 2, then there's Orgo, and I'm like, all right.
That was crazy. But yeah, freshman year, Calc was the class that got me because, like you said, similar experience. Majority Black high school, they didn't offer, like, we were supposed to take Calc, but we didn't. And so I had never seen any of these things they were doing. And I remember getting the first test that I failed back, and I was like, and everybody else had like B's, B's, C's, A's, and I had failed. And I was like, am I not smart? Like, what is going on? And I remember I had a moment where after the second test I failed, and I was like, well, geez, am I gonna fail this class? And the guy next to me, I was like, how are you understanding what he's saying? Like, what is this disconnect that I have? And he's like, oh, we did all this in high school. And I was like, and then I had to learn, like you said, how to study, how to go get help, because high school, I didn't really have to do that. Like, I was the tutor in high school. Like, I things came easier to me. It was easy. And then I got to tech, and nothing was easy. There was no more free. Everything was hard, and you had to fight a drag out fight for it. So freshman year was the very much like, where do I stand? How do I get help so I can not experience this same thing next semester?
Yeah.
That was, freshman year is such a transition. And we'll get into the social in a minute, but in terms of the classes that you took, so as a biology major, what were some of your favorite classes, and then what did projects look like, and what did labs look like? I imagine like Petri dishes and white jackets.
Yeah, honestly, like I think my favorite class was maybe It's this class called Health, Gene, Society, and it's more so like it's like a concept based class, but it was more so just talking about like ethical problems in like medicine.
Mm,
Like let's say for example, physician assistant suicide. Like if your patient actually wants to die, like are you gonna like does it go against your oath as a provider to help them,
yeah,
um end their lives and just things like that. And so we just had to talk about like a bunch of like different cases and things like that. So I thought that was really, really cool.
that's really interesting.
The labs are more so, like you just said, we have like, it depends. So there's like two different types of labs. Well, kind of like, let's say for intro biology, I would say. So for intro is one that like mainly everyone takes, and then there's like a major, like a biology major intro.
Mhm.
Uh, these two labs are different. So the intro lab, you have, let's say like a different topic every 2 or 3 weeks,
Mhm.
right? So one lab topic takes at least like 2 or 3 weeks. And the first week you're doing more so conceptualizing, okay, this is what we're gonna do as a group.
Yeah.
Uh, it's like the background research. The second week is like, you're more so setting up your experiment. Let's say if you're working with like bugs or something, that's when you actually do the experiment, and you get the data. The third week is more so you going through the data,
Yeah.
editing what you need to edit, all while writing your different sections for your report. And then the
Yeah.
last week is you just submit, and then you either talk about it as a group or do the whole like presentation thing, and then that's really it. That's more so for the intro biology lab. For the major specific one, granted, I didn't take any of the major specific ones. I've only done the intro ones.
Okay.
Only because it's just my personal choice, and I like the professors that taught the intro ones better.
Okay.
Uh, it's the same thing lecture-wise, but lab is more so project-based. So you have a semester-long project. So it's a semester-long project, and they partner with the Atlanta Botanical Gardens,
Oh.
and it's some kind of like it depends on whatever problem that they may have. Like let's say they wanted to maybe introduce some orchids or do some like butterfly experiment and things, something like that. So whatever that they may have issues or want to need help with, that's what you
Okay.
work with them on. And then you go there a couple of times a semester, get the data, do whatever you want as your project, and then at the end you present at this like mini like symposium type of thing.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more fruitful, I would say, if you do like the major specific one, because it preps you more just for being accustomed to the lab experience, especially being
Mhm.
in a longer lab. I think either one you'll be fine because you're gonna get the wet lab experience. You're gonna get the
Mhm.
data, extractions. Those are amazing. It's kind of like up to you. Now, for the project-based labs, those are more for the seniors,
Mhm.
and it's similar to like a capstone
Okay.
or like yeah, a capstone or design or whatever like other majors do.
Okay.
Basically, you're paired with a current like what is it called? Like faculty or staff member who has like a research lab on campus,
Mhm.
and basically just, I mean, it's funny because like looking back at it now, we did an experiment that was already done, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
So like they already had a research paper like, published or whatever. And we basically just did that entire experiment or paper
Okay.
for the entire semester. And then we presented at this like larger symposium with all the other labs and things like that. But it's really cool because I think for me, I did mine in like genetics
Oh.
based. It was like something like with RNA, something like that.
Yeah.
Like yeah, it was like, okay, like I'm gonna just
Yeah.
learn it to pass or whatever. But it was cool because you get to like learn different techniques,
Mhm.
that you probably didn't get in your other intro bio classes and things like that. I wish it was more so, my personal opinion, I wish it was more like not relevant but more important than it is like to like a capstone.
Mhm.
Because to my knowledge, like a capstone is more so you're partnering with like a company or something like that, working on whatever issues that they may have, and you actually present it to them,
Yeah.
and then they kind of, depending on how it is, they might or might not adopt your thing. But for us, we're just like kind of redoing an experiment that's already been
Yeah.
done. So we're not really like kind of doing much, but we do walk away with those skills that we
Yeah.
made. So it's kind of like push and pull.
Okay. Okay. And so in those lab classes, that would be the only place you would have like a project type of assignment.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, on that level, yeah, you might have like little things like in a classroom, like, okay, a group like presentation about a topic or something like
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
I like for one of my bioethics class, we had like a group, like you just pick a topic and then you know, divvy it up by member and you
Yeah.
present it. Some like, you know, minuscule things like that.
Yeah. Okay. What was maybe your least favorite class? Class you like, I could live my whole
Physics and CS. Off the rip. Physics and CS. I don't like any of those classes. That's what made me opt out of the engineering realm because
Yeah.
I was capable in math, but when it came to linear or anything above or multivariable
Yeah.
or that's where I cap. Physics, I can do physics 1. Physics 2, I don't know what this is, this electromagnetic thing, these circuits, these like, I don't know, dipole moments. This is not
Yeah.
what I want to study. And then CS, like I feel like I could understand CS, but it's like that is truly something that builds on top of each other. And it's like if you don't get those first couple of weeks,
Yeah.
you're not gonna actually make it very far because no, I found that out very quickly. So those two
Those
classes,
first few weeks do set if you can't learn the if statements and the for statements, there's no
yeah.
way you'll ever
I'm
do
like,
any homework.
oh yeah, even the easier classes that they say is easier, you're lying. This is not easy. Like these are not easier. So those classes
I
are my
will say my first couple of grades in physics made me question if I could be an electrical engineer because I was like, all right, well, if physics 2 is the basis of everything that I will learn to be an engineer, I'm already down 1-0 because this grade that I got it clearly indicates that she is not an engineer. She's not
yeah.
an engineer.
And for me, I'm just like, why do I even need this class? Like I can understand physics 1. I could maybe but physics 2,
Yeah,
I
physics
don't
2 is a lot for a biology major. That seems a bit.
what? I could get the CS because you know technically everyone wants to do the CS thing. I could understand the reason with CS, but I just have a personal issue with physics 2. Like I would never see eye to eye with those subjects. I cannot lie to you.
You know, I get that. I used to have PTSD walking through the cult and then, like at the bottom where the classes used to be, and everybody would just huddle up there for it to go into the final and how everybody would come out looking so sad. Even just walking past there after I took that class, I was like, I hate it there.
That and then the Howie building, like I
Oh,
wouldn't even
yes.
go down that area. Like that's no.
It was not good. Okay. Did you think going in you would add a minor? Like, at what point did you decide? Because it was psychology and Spanish, right?
Mhm.
At what point did you
I
decide
didn't
these will add value to me?
I didn't honestly think I was gonna add a minor like at all. I added my minor, let's say 2020 during like the summer of like COVID, that online area.
Mm-hmm.
I always liked, I know it's because of my personality theory class I took earlier that spring semester. I really liked the class and the subject. And I was like, you know what? Like I feel like, you know, I feel like it could probably look good. I don't know like in what way specifically, but I feel
Yeah.
like at least with like, you know, the Spanish one, definitely I feel like that would give me a leg up, especially since I saw myself a lot more in like clinical settings where, you know, a lot of the patients might come from, especially like if when I was doing volunteering work at these like more like enclaves and underrepresented areas, there was a huge community of, you know, just Hispanic and Latinx people. And so I'm like, you know, at least having like a basic understanding of written and verbal, you know,
Yeah.
would kind of give me a boost, you know, in my candidacy. So I thought I was, at least I really say Spanish would definitely give me a boost because
Yeah.
anywhere we go. But yeah, and I didn't add my Spanish one I think until that fall 2020. But I was taking classes up until then, like some of the intro online ones. And I thought it was really, really cool. So I was like, if I can do these intro ones, I can definitely just do the minor. I might as well.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Yeah. Psychology, I took one psychology class and it was really interesting, but that side of my brain, it was like, girl, let this go. But it was interesting. But I took it. It was like one of the first classes I took at Tech when I had to go over the summer. And yeah, I enjoyed it. But then I was like, can I take more of these? Because my brain really struggled on whatever side of the brain that was. I needed to do psychology. She was like, you should rethink this. So I think it's cool that you was able to get a minor in it. And on top of doing the chemistries and the biologies.
It was a break, honestly,
Yeah.
it was a break for me. Like, I was like, I'm doing all this science stuff. I need something to like at least take my mind off it so I don't have a heavy
Yeah.
semester of science. If I have like at least 2 or 3 science-based classes, let me have one just like psychology or Spanish, just like take my mind off of like the formulas and lab coats and all of that just for a second. Let me just at least read a text, you know,
Yeah.
like talk about something. But
Yeah,
yeah.
that makes sense. That makes sense. Let's talk about support. So the question is twofold. Support academic wise, because I've heard from like my friends who aren't either computer science majors or engineering majors that sometimes they feel like career fairs are catered towards engineers and like career opportunities post tech. Did you feel like you were supported as a biology student at Tech? And then the second part of the question will get into like social like support.
As a biology student, I'm gonna say no. Well, not in my earlier times, I would say.
Okay.
Only because, yes, when I first started as a biology major, of course, like not even just my mind, but the environment at the time was just med school. But if you're biology, med school.
Mhm.
And I felt like at the time that the department didn't do a good enough job of at least educating the other different aspects of biology that you can go into,
Mhm.
or where there might be intersections with other disciplines as well. And for me, being that like at the environment was just catered around med school, or let's say like a PhD, it was like kind of felt you had to choose one or the other.
Yeah.
And then for me, I was in a scholarship program as well, and so that was another type of pressure to choose between what we thought was one of these two like just finite like areas.
Yeah.
And so even career wise, like we didn't have major specific career fairs.
Yeah.
They were just like newly trying to establish the Canvas like section of the majors, because they had one, but they had a pre-health one, but not a biology one. But a lot of the times they would tell the biology ones to sign up for pre-health, which is, I understand, science and medical, and they have hand in hand, but there's like a lot more other disciplines, like I said, that you can go into that is just not being taught.
Yeah.
So, but as like I think that within the last year or two, they've been getting a lot of new people, a lot more input in, and so I definitely see that it's a lot more effort to educate of what the other aspects. I felt like for me, I had to find or put myself in spaces to learn about other areas where I can take my degree once I get it. And it was kind of it was rough because it was just like I just felt like I'm seeing what's been done for other schools, and honestly, like those other schools they're bringing in the money, like they're bringing in the money and they're bringing in the revenue. So I can understand why it's a lot more, you know, not like favoritism, but a lot more just like, and it's a larger community as well. Like a lot of other people, like they're paying tuition to come for these engineering degrees and CS degrees. So it's understandable as to why they have a lot more programs catered to them. But then at the same time, it's okay, well, even if we don't have a lot, what can we do, with what we have? And it's just, it was, to me, it was always just like med school, which I appreciate, but I knew after my first year, I didn't want to go to med school.
Yeah.
Like I knew that, like, I was like, I know that I'm not going to commit to this. And so I need to find out what else there is available.
So,
Socially.
well, let's pause before we get into social.
Okay.
Because one of my questions was, because I think when I think of the people that I've talked to that were biology, a lot of them did do pre-med. So you talk about some of the other options and disciplines that you learned about and some of the spaces that you put yourself in to like learn more about those options.
Okay, yeah. I think my first experience learning about other disciplines was, let's say, summer of 2021. I had like my first type of internship experience at Emory School of Medicine. And with this, I was in this program called like Health Prep. And what it is, like, it's like a readiness program. Basically, get students from like any year, even like post-grad, and it brings them together at Emory. And it was just like, you get to help, they help you choose, literally help you choose what you want to do and connect you with the people that you at least think that you want to be with. And so for me at the time, I really wanted to go to grad school. So what you do is like, you have either like an MD track or a GRE track, right? So MD, of course, they're going to pre-med, and GRE, or of course, they're going to like the grad school ways, right? I wasn't interested in MD, so I did more the GRE. I had the GRE track, more so thinking about master's programs or other things like that. But even after that program, because I was interested, I was exposed to like physical therapy, what was it? This other one, like genetic counseling, what was this? It was something else. Physical therapy, genetic counseling, medical technologists, like those type of technician-based roles as well that you can take these degrees and go into. But then there was this other one that I really found out I loved, and it was embryology. And that was after my first, my second job. But I'll get to that later.
Okay.
But after my readiness program, I actually got my first job at Emory Hospital. And this is where I did, I think, I worked overnight. Never, ever, I would never advise anyone, like, ever to work overnight. But I really had, once, like, as a college student, you kind of really need some money. So you kind of have to, like, bust your butt sometimes and, like, make some money. So I was literally working overnight, like, 7 to 7, sometimes 7 p.m. to 12 a.m., like, probably, like, 3 or 4 times a week. Like, because, like, I needed these bills to be paid. Like, I needed to get some books. I needed to, like, always, like, kind of look cute, I kind of how, like,
you got to,
like, so I was doing these types of things. But even then, when I was there, I was exposed to a lot more disciplines, a lot more areas that we can go into, like, let's say, what is it, like, radiology technologist or radiologic technologist, where you do the imaging, things like that. I'm just like, yo, like, these are actually really cool things to do within a clinical setting, because from my experience, I was only exposed to, doctors, nurses, and CNAs. Like, I didn't see any, like, medical technologists. I didn't see any clinical scientists. I didn't see any radiology techs. I didn't see any of these things. And so when I was in those environments, I saw a lot more of what I could go into. And I was like, this is cool. Like, I really appreciate this. But then it's like, this also stays with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is just like what I found out, So ever since then, I kind of feel like it was something in me to, like, at least get other people to kind of see, or hey, like, they have an opening, or hey, they have like a virtual event, like, go see what that's about or whatever. Like, even if it's not for me, like, just go find that out, because I know with biology, it's like, we kind of bonded over finding internships and jobs. Like, we were like, okay, so what are you looking at? Like, send me something or whatever you find, because we just didn't, at the time, we didn't have that central place to look for them. Now, like I said, it's changing and it's a lot better, but it was a lot rough those first 2 years.
I see that. First of all, that's so cool that you got to explore all of those options and take it back to people. Because, like you said, it was probably hard in that space where it's like, these are your 2 options. Pick one. So you were able to introduce people to more options, which is really great. Okay, so you were talking about, you had how many internship experiences did you have? And, like, okay, I guess let me go back. How did you find these internship experiences, given kind of lack of support?
I think we gotta go back to COVID. I'm not gonna lie, because that was the semester where that's my first year, actually. First year, second semester, when everything just went to crap. I'll just talk about, like, my mindset during that time, March 2020. Okay. My first year, second semester. That was a time where I had, like, all these. I had, like, I think 2 or 3 summer internships lined up, and it was, like, more research based. I found them honestly, through my mentor, the scholarship program that I was into, and through I used to get these emails from, like, either the pre-health department or me. Like, we had, like, a group of biology majors or whatever. But then when COVID happened, like, everything got canceled. Like, it was like, okay, well, we're not doing it. It's not happening. So okay, so it was bad. It was bad. It was bad because I was a part of my scholarship program that I was in is called GT Esteemed. It was like Georgia Tech, enhancing engineering, science, math, like STEM, all that other good stuff. But the basis of our program was to help us get into these research experiences, or like REUs, short for like research experience for undergrads, which is like I had lined up. And then when COVID happened and they all got canceled, it was just like, okay, well, I have nothing. I literally have nothing. And so my first internship I actually found on Instagram, actually. It was an Instagram ad during 2020. Yeah, during like May 2020, it was an Instagram ad, and it was like this summer online research experience. And so it was really, really cool because it was still health and medicine, what I wanted to do. And I didn't think anything of it, 'cause I think everything was a scam on Instagram ads, but I think. And so I found it, and I was matched with my grad mentor from Emory University School of Nursing at the time. And so she was kind of like my first like semi internship. I didn't get paid. It was more so just like readiness and like skills based. So it was more so. Also, it was last minute because no one knew what COVID was going to happen. No one knew. It was basically a program for like everyone who had an internship that got canceled,
Yeah.
basically. And so that was really, really fun. Um, my more serious ones were like in 2021. I found that one because I was in MAPS, which is the Minority Association of Pre-Medical Students,
Mhm.
and I was on e-board. And so my job was to make sure I communicate with the members through email. And because of the email was connected to a whole bunch of other schools and department heads, they would send, opportunities through that email, and I would then
Mhm.
send it through either email or through the group meet. And so I found a lot of good internships through that email, and it was really, really cool because we were just always sending things off in there. So I did that. I had another internship. I'm trying to think about where even that was. I think it was online. I think after that one, after 2021, I just switched to getting jobs because I was like, okay, like I like these interests. I think it's really, really cool. I think the ones that I've had more so were doing was just like, yes, I do get skills. I do, get a little small stipend, but like I need like a constant
Yeah.
form of income. Like, yeah, the summer one is cool, but like I would rather do a job over the summer and do it into fall than like an internship for like 5 weeks.
Yeah.
So I kind of more so switched my priorities at the time. And I think ever since like November 2021, I literally had that job at Emory until August of last year.
Okay.
So like I was just there, like in working and just literally getting paid.
What was your job at Emory?
I first started out doing like unit clerk. So basically, when I first started like those overnight shift, I was basically like running the front desk. So I worked on this like medical. It's called med surge, which is basically called medical surgical unit, which is
Mhm.
basically a unit that has like at least like 23 patients maximum. They're either doing pre-op or post-op. They're just
Okay.
there for like a couple. Some people are there for like a longer time, but no more than like a week or two. And
Yeah.
then they like care, until they go to the next like actual department. And I was there basically running the front desk, doing like all the clerical duties, who comes in, who comes out, visitors, like what the patients might need,
Yeah.
just things like that. I did that for about a year, and then I went into transporting after that. So I just basically transported patients from every corner of the hospital, and that was like it was cool because I was no longer just sitting in one place. I was more
Yeah.
so getting to see every part, and I was also doing it during the daytime too. So I was also networking with a lot of different providers and people who I just didn't even know before. And then I switched over from there, and I went into radiology, and I was more so like a rotational worker, I guess, because some days I would do transporting, but other days I would be in the business operations department helping my supervisor just like either with her like emails or her meetings and things like that. So I was basically getting the experience. I was
You was
there.
doing it all.
I was literally there working like my butt off. And I really loved it because like I said, it showed me just like different things I can go into, medicine wise, but also just like it opened up my network. I was literally networking with everyone, like every person I stopped in the elevator, everyone I saw in the line, at the food court. I even saw this one person, like she was the coordinator of this volunteer program that I did at Emory when I was in high school. And she was like, it was that program that actually made me want to go into medicine and like want to go into biology. And so I saw her like just casually walking. I'm like, you know what? Like you're actually the reason why I'm literally here like right now. And I think that's just like so crazy. So it was a really cool experience for me.
Yeah, that's really great. Pivoting to we started off this question with support and then went into internships. Ed Tech, on the social side of things, I know you were in a lot of orgs. Was your intention always to be in different orgs, or were you trying to find like places that you felt comfortable? Like, how did you get into all the different orgs, and were you able to find support there?
Honestly, I did not plan to get into any org at all. I did not plan that at all. But I think like from my experience in like leadership, it's just a testament to like my experience at Tech and how comfortable I felt in these spaces. First semester, that was nowhere on my mind, like at all. I didn't start to get involved until my second semester, and I started on the ASU Black History Month committee, and it was because one of my friends who was in my friend group, she drugged me to that meeting. So I didn't want to go. I think at the time, first year, because I was in the scholarship program, we had meetings every Tuesday from 11 to 12. So I could never go to the meeting. So I wasn't pressed to go, much less pressed to be a part. And so it wasn't until I went to one of these committee meetings with my good friends at the time, and she drugged me there, and like we were working on some kind of event at the time, and I was like, okay, this is fun actually, because now I'm meeting like a lot of other people. Now like I'm actually vibing with these people, because up until then it was just me and my friend group of like 4 other people, and we were all that we had because we all started from Ignite. You know, we didn't really know much of we knew other people, but we didn't really cross paths too much. So it was just literally me and that group. And so it was after that time where we're planning for an event, like the whole thing from like thinking about an event to planning it to executing it, I just fell in love with that. Like I was like, this is actually so fun because you're making friends. It's one of my best friend, Alana, and I was like, yo, this is actually like really, really cool. And so after that, let's say like 2020, I then went on to be the chair of Black History Month. And that was my first like leadership type of experience. I think all the while I was going to like the BSRT, the Black Student Recruitment Team meetings, and we were doing things with that, but I don't think I took office that fast. And so I got into the whole like ASU jazz, and I thought like it was just like really, really cool. It opened up so many more doors. I got to meet a lot more people. I got to just move up, I feel like in my leadership skills, because I feel like, at the time I have gone like the internship and like the, those technical skills as well. But I'm like, I also need to be like a really good person as well. Like I think, also that community aspect, especially since that's what I was in high school, like volunteering and hosting these things. I kind of wanted to have like keep that part of myself. And so I found a lot of way bigger pool of support from those spaces. And then from like the more social clubs, I got to the more medical clubs, like MAPS, like what's another one? Some other one. I was in there. And then I got to the more like leadership, like SGA, and that was like kind of like where I was all right. Like I think I've done enough. But it was cool. So like each org that I was in, whether it be like ASU or MAPS or SGA, I was able to find some type of community or support system in there, whether it be smaller or larger. And it definitely helped me with all of what I was going through during those times.
Yeah, I think I also freshman year was like, orgs, I'm failing 6 of these tests. I don't have time to go to no org meeting.
No, I'm not doing that.
But I don't even think I realized. I think sophomore year was when I started like, because I went haphazardly to the meetings when I could. Like I didn't really commit to going all the time. But I think sophomore year when I was like, sometimes I just need a pick me up. Sometimes I just need to be around people sometimes I want to be around people who look like me. Sometimes I want to be around people who are interested in the same things that I'm interested in. So the orgs and being a part of clubs and committees that really helped lift my spirits. I didn't even know how much I needed to be around community, because sometimes you just put your head down, you just grind it out, and you just grind it. And then when you come up for air, you be like, wait, it's people here. It's other people that I can connect with, and that connection sometimes on a bad day that can really make your whole day. So,
and you wouldn't believe how many times I've spoken to people who might not have been involved before, like when they would leave, they were like, you know what, like I really wish I listened to you and came to these meetings. Like I really wish that, because now it's just like I don't really know how to interact with people, or like I don't know how to make friends or something. I'm like, yo, like, yeah, come to these, like, I understand the same feeling how you felt, like, oh, like I'm not gonna be around these people, but it's just like
Yeah.
it's just a sense of community. It's not that much of us. You don't have to be involved like as much as me. Like I just want to help foster the environment.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that was my, job. But I'm like, I want to get you guys to at least be in the space to where you can just see someone that looks like you. Because once you leave, it's not gonna be that. But
Yeah.
a lot of you don't really see the importance of that until it's gone, until they're no longer there. And
Yeah.
so it's just like something that and I think it's because of how I grew up, and where I grew up too. I think where I grew up, especially like in more the southern part of Georgia, like College Park, I never really understood the sense of community until I was no longer in my community.
Yeah.
And when I was like, okay, it was, I mean, like, how like you have that like you sit next to that black person in class because you're just like like we're just locked in. Like I didn't think about those things until I came to tech, because it was it was all that I know. Like it was all black. So where also it was no like thoughts about my race or thoughts about anything else, because we just were all like the same.
Yeah.
And so when I came to tech, it was more so like you have to make an effort to want to be around people that look like you, whether it be in a classroom or in an org or other things like that. And like me, like I'm like, I need to be around other people that look like me. Like
Yeah.
that's the only way I feel like I'm gonna actually survive. Like I need to, it's okay to have like a balance of both, whatever fits your seat. I know, but for me, I needed a lot of black friends, and I know, and I knew that. So I was like, I'm gonna make some, or I'm gonna at least like go to the place where I know has all of them and help them get some more people. Because
Yeah.
if I'm feeling like this, I'm pretty sure like 10 other people that are out there just lost are feeling the same way, and that's just really what it was.
Yes. Shout out to people like you trying to foster that community. Because let me tell you something. In class, that first day, I put that antenna up. I'm looking for, is there any other black woman in this class? Where are you, girl? We are finna sit next to each other. Most of the time, it was only me, but that's okay. Because I
Looking
was
on the
looking.
people's tab in Canvas, like, okay, let me see who I might recognize. And okay, like, hey, are you in this class? Yeah, don't drop. Let's actually, lock in right now.
Right
But
now. Do
yeah,
you what building I don't know if you didn't have to take CS 1371, did you? MATLAB?
no,
They got rid
no.
of that requirement, probably rightfully so, but I can't even remember what building it was, but there was a lecture hall that was one of the big lecture halls. And I don't know if you ever, I think Shamara might have graduated before, but she was in Oryx too. And I had never met her before, but she came in on the opposite side of the room. And later she told me this story. She was like, I scanned the room and I saw you were the only black girl in there. Cause I saw her like do a little jog. Like it wasn't a run, but it was a strong jog. And she came and sat in the chair next to me. And later she told me like, I found you. And I was like, we have to sit next to each other. So like, that was the kind of intent that I had. I don't know, it just do something to you sometimes. You just need to be, loved on in that way.
I agree.
Yes. I know you said you didn't come into tech with any expectations about the school itself, but did you have any like expectations about what biology would be like and any misconceptions that you kind of got cleared up along the way? Or was your expectation pretty spot on?
Honestly, I didn't have any expectations at all. Actually, no, there was one that I did have, and I thought that it was going to be a lot more similar to like CS or business, where you have different like threads or kind of concentrations in a way. Like, let's say business, they have like like supply chain or like whatever they have, and then CS they have like human something or
Yeah.
whatever they have. And but with biology, it's just general. It's just general. Get like a taste of everything, which I do think is good, but also it could be better. It could be better in a way where you have let's say if you want to go into medicine, you have a little bit more like human anatomy, and that's more of a requirement than just electives. Let's say
Yeah.
if you want to go into more like research, you have more like research-based classes that are like required. Or let's say you wanted to go into ecology or like plant-based, then you have those other ones. But with the structure, it's just general with a subsection of breadth and depth electives. So like you take whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's cool because you do have the autonomy to just like sign up for whatever. What I kind of would like is more so like at least them providing like a sample like 4-year plan of like, okay, if you want to do this, like these are some good classes that you should, or this is how your plan should look, or if you want to do this, this is how it should look. But again, this was at the time where I was just starting out, like my second year, like in technology. It's been a lot better since like in the last year. There's been a lot like more efforts to like, do those things. But when I first started out, it was like, okay, well, this is just what it is. Take a random class, I guess, and call it a day. But I do think that's something that they could do better. Is kind of just more so in like increasing the type of like the opportunities and classes that they have, because they have really cool classes. But honestly, sometimes I don't know about them because like I'm not looking for them, but they're also just not really like out there, like, or exposed. So yeah.
Okay. Coming to the end of our section about college, what do you wish someone would have told you about college before you started, either college or like studying biology?
Ooh, honestly, my thought process now about college is more so, yes, we do want the jobs that we like, and yes, we do want the jobs that tend to our major. But my mindset a lot more right now is more so financial freedom. Like financial freedom, getting paid earlier on without doing like the most intensive schoolwork, things like that. So I would just want to say, yes, you can choose your major, right? But you also need to understand that like you might not do any of what you studied in college. And that's okay. That's okay. And like it's okay to go into business. It's okay to go into CS. It's okay to choose, like, you don't have to choose the most intense of disciplines, because you might not even look at that later on. It was this at commencement, it was this one speaker who spoke to us. She got a PhD in biomedical engineering. This lady does supply chain management for Chick-fil-A.
You never know where the Lord will take you.
You never know. And I'm just like, I want people to be more like, especially freshmen, you coming in, you're gonna have a lot of like feel a lot of pressure. Feel a lot of pressure of you having to do something, you having to be away, you having to be successful in this lane. But I kind of want to just be a little bit more realistic with your goals, not saying that you can and you shouldn't go for these hard jobs. You should do. I want to see Black people in these like spaces, but just being clear, like, hey, this is not the end all be all. For me, like, yes, I love the biology, the medicine part, but I also love business. Like, I also see myself going into sales, but I also see myself going into spaces where I see intersection, because I do want, at the very least, to be, around somewhere that has my major, or somewhere that has something that I learned, because I didn't go to school for these years to just learn to do something that doesn't really apply to my major. But at the same time, I wouldn't be mad, because I just want to be financially free. Like, I do. I think something else I would want to do or tell people is just like that comparison part. Like, I know everyone in college is going to feel that sentiment about comparison is definitely the thief of joy, and it is.
It is.
I can tell you, even now, it's something that I'm still learning, where it's just like, I'm seeing people excel at the same things I'm feeling at, and I feel terrible. I feel like I'm not worth it. I feel like I was not meant to be here, and I think it was through my trials and errors where I was able to embrace my own journey. I was able to just say, you know what, like, for me, I came from a damn near third world country. I came up here at 12 years old, thrown into America and just literally fed to the sharks. And I just graduated college. So it's like, I have a way different journey and a way different calling than other people. And that's fine. I might not get certain things at the first time as everyone else, but I was able to be a lot more confident and a lot more confident in just my journey, like through like tech, and my journey just through just being a professional now. And so it's hard to do that while you're in it. I will say it's very hard to do that while you're in it. And I don't even know like the best advice I would give to get out of that mindset. I really don't know, like, because I feel like it's something that you would learn after a really long time, after looking back at what you did, like, it's like, I did all these things. Like, I was president of these orgs, I did so and so internships, and I still feel like I'm out of place. I'm like, no, I'm doing damn good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm actually, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So
I think
I don't
you gave the advice in the thought process of what the advice should be. I think because when you start to compare yourself, you invalidate everything that's special about your experience. Like you said, you came into the States at 12 years old and you're trying to compare like where somebody else is to where you are right now when y'all started in two different places and you had two different sets of resources. So I think when you feel those moments of comparison or you feel like inferior to the person sitting next to you, you should probably take some time to think about all the things you have accomplished to this point. Because I don't think we give ourselves enough credit for the things that we do accomplish with the resources that we have, with where we all come from, with just like our own individual stories. Like we should give ourselves more credit. So to whoever's watching this who feels like you need to compare yourself, stop it. Stop it right now. And think about all the things you overcome, all the challenges you conquered, the places that you came from, and where you are today. Because I promise you, you're doing a lot better than you think.
Honestly, just look back. Just literally look back. Like, you're gonna be like, I did all these things. And it was someone that told me, like, and honestly, like, what gave me a lot more of that boost was looking at people that I inspired along the way. People that like I've helped out. Like, it's been people that like, oh my God, you're a part of this. Like, oh my God, like that's where I know you from. I'm like, yeah, I did do that. But then like when you're so caught up, you kind of forget your accomplishments. And I'm like, oh my God, I did do that. Like, not to even seem like bashful, but like I genuinely forget the things that I do because I feel like I've done so much and I still feel so pressured. But then when I see like undergrads, like freshmen, or people that I was like mentors to them, oh my God, like, it was because of you that I did this, or like, thanks for sending me the opportunity. I got into such and such. I'm like, yo, like, I'll be fine. Like, it's actually gonna be just fine.
Yes, take some time to remember your accomplishments. It really does a person well. Last question in this section. What you might have already answered it. What did college teach you about yourself?
Ooh, what did college teach me about myself? I'm a lot more resilient than I thought I am.
Come on, get into it.
I'm a lot more resilient because let me tell you, I could tell you about 10, 15 different things that happened to me in college that I just genuinely did not think I was gonna survive. I've been through losing my scholarships. I've been through losing my scholarships. I've been through failing a class. I've been through almost failing too many classes. I've been through, let's say, tech telling me that I cannot get no more aid for any of my classes. I've been through like hell and back. And it was just like, looking back now, I feel like, yes, I'm a lot more resilient than I thought I was going to be. I came out there like, it's just nothing that I can't like see myself through anymore. Like, so I just feel like tech definitely taught me resilience. It definitely taught me that I'm a lot more resilient than I thought I was. It taught me that I love people. I love talking to people. I love getting to know people. I have a bright personality, and I feel like my personality is very infectious. It taught me that, I don't know, just like some things like that. And I really cherish those lessons. I really cherish the lesson because it helped me, it helped me choose the spaces I want to be in.
Yeah.
And it helped me kind of flourish in those spaces as well. So I'm very much indebted to tech for real. I didn't think I would ever be. Because
tech was the best of times and it was the worst of times. Okay. It was a time.
I'm like, yo, I'm not giving no money back to this school. I'm leaving for good. But I'm like, you know what? Like, I am gonna give money back to the school. It might not be through the alumni, it might be directly to the orgs.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely gonna, pour back into tech because tech poured into me.
Yeah.
Like, it just gave me so much. It gave me so much.
Yeah. Okay. This next set of questions, you might have to use your imagination for a little bit more.
Okay.
So this is the if you section.
Okay.
The first question is, if you could take all your knowledge as a biology major into any fictional universe and replace a fictional character, who would you choose and why?
Replace a character. I think I would probably replace, what's his name? I would say Bruce Banner, who's
Okay.
like the Hulk.
Yeah.
Like, I really do appreciate his mind. I think he's a very intelligent person. I feel like his outlook on like just genetics and all that, I think is really, really respectable. So I think I would definitely do him. Yeah.
Okay. Bruce Banner. Okay, so Bruce Banner,
Yeah.
not the Hulk. Or are you
Not
still
the
gonna
Hulk.
take okay.
Not him.
No. Two separate people, not the Hulk. Oh, okay. If someone was putting together a team, a super team of STEM majors, what would you say is the superpower of a biology major? Like, what is unique about their perspective? What makes them special?
I would say if it's a super team, I would only because I'm gonna talk about it from a medicine standpoint. I think they'll be a great medic. A
Okay.
great medic. Like, I feel like in any team, if you're going into battle, you're gonna need a medic. And I
Okay.
think the medic is kind of like the most important person, because you can have great fighters, but once that fighter is down and there's nothing to heal them, you're gone, right? So that's even like when I play games, I kind of more so choose that route or that position, because I feel like that's where I do like the most like good in.
Yeah.
But just the knowledge of the body, the knowledge of how the body works, how the system works, the knowledge of what items to use, or what reacts well, what doesn't react well to the body, what you could use to like either boost strength or stamina or things like that. That's what I really think.
That's good. Okay, that's a great answer. This is the lightning round.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna give you this or that questions, and you just go with the first thing that comes to your spirit, okay?
Okay.
Would you rather do a project assignment or a homework assignment?
Project.
Okay. Final
Okay.
project or final exam?
Final project.
Okay. Group project or solo project?
I do group.
Okay. Study group or study solo?
Study group.
Okay. Meal plan or cook your own food?
Oh, meal plan.
Would you rather ask a professor for help or a TA?
Oh, I would say professor.
Okay. Internship or co-op? But you already said you like a job, so we're gonna scratch that.
Yeah, but I would do co-op, but theoretically a job would be better.
Okay. Fall semester or spring semester?
Spring, weather.
Roommates or no roommates?
I like roommates.
Okay, last question. 8 a.m. classes Monday through Thursday or 5 p.m. labs on a Friday?
8 a.m.
And you completed the pop quiz. I don't know why you said 8 a.m., but okay.
I would do 8 a.m. I'm a morning person, so I don't mind 8 a.m. I'm not going to a lab at 5 p.m. on a Friday. Oh, man.
Okay.
No, man.
Kemuel, thank you so much for taking the time to come and share your wisdom. I really, really appreciate you. All the best on the next steps post your tech graduation. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you for thinking about me.
Heck yeah. Have a good rest of your day today.
Okay, you too.